to experience so much weird stuff. Tim Saxby photography, and it goes. Also, I've worked really weird. Went with Paul, Chuckle, and Dick and Dom. I'm really sorry I told you to fuck off last night.
You have to do a solid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sam Fender just went up to the bar as well.
And
What are you doing here?
What are you doing? It was when you text me going, "Is everything okay?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm just playing Oasis." And you went, "I was hoping you were going to say that." Yeah. I was like, "Oh my god," because that's what I'm playing.
I was like all the way into the library, which isn't even that far, but I was like, please tell me I don't have to come back. I was like, I've got all my work out now. Let's just go for it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 10 of the DaneMellowsTalks podcast. Today, we've got a very special guest, the inaugural guest of the podcast.
What does that mean?
The first.
All right, okay.
Just the first. I think it does anyway. Is Tim Saxby, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
They're all applauding.
This is my first ever time I've ever been a guest on a podcast.
Really?
I've hosted about 5.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I've ever been a guest on one. It's exciting.
Well, that is a complete dig at Ben Redfern.
That's why I kept messaging you, going, when are you going to do it? Because I really want to do it. I thought, if you message me going, I'm not going to do it anymore. I was like, as long as I record what I want to say.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just stay at home and cry.
Yeah.
Well, no, as soon as I decided I wanted to do a podcast by myself, I was like, I knew I wanted to do a lot of solo episodes, but also a lot of guest episodes, and you were one of the first people that came to my mind, because I was thinking, I can get back to Hull, and I can do a few in here while I've still got a bit of time at Hull.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, who are interesting people that I know around Hull? Tim Saxby, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm slightly interested.
Yeah.
I did realise, I think I had an apprenticeship once, and I'd been there 5 weeks, and my mum said, you should start writing some of this down, because it's not normal for like someone who was like, I don't know how old I must have been, about 18, to experience so much weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we definitely will. But like I say, yeah, you're definitely one of the most interesting people that I know in Hull, and it's mainly because of the photography.
Yeah.
And it's obviously mainly because everybody knows you around here from seeing you on nights out.
Yeah. I was the student, because we're recording this at the university, and there is the student bar opposite. I remember just one night just being out there with some friends, and the table next to us were talking about me, being like, "Oh, that photographer mugged us off again last night," and I was just like, "Hi," and they sort of turned around and went, "Oh, you're real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am, yeah." And I feel like people get like so drunk that I'm like this weird fever dream. Like, people don't actually remember me.
Yeah.
And it's like they just sort of remember the camera and the picture, and then when they see me, they're like, What are you doing? It's like seeing like a cartoon character in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't actually exist.
Well, I've definitely been in those states in Asylum or Welly or wherever I've seen you. And I think I messaged you the next day. I was like, oh, did I see you last night? Because if I do, then what I remember, it's not good. It's not good, bro.
I don't do as much of it anymore, but I used to get endless Facebook messages. Sundays, which just like I'd wake up and it'd be like ping, ping, ping.
Yeah.
Who are all these people? And it's like, please don't post this. Please don't post this. I don't care. I'm posting them anyway.
Well, I know, like you were saying, a lot of people, well, the people that you saw in the bar that was mugging you off on it, I know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, he's taking another bad picture of me. You're in a massive drunk state.
Yeah, I know, right? And that's the thing. I was going to do. It sounds horrible, but I was going to, don't make me look ugly. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I don't tell you what to look like. Like, you
I know a
like,
lost cause when I see one.
Or when they're like, you made me look so bad, and I'm like, especially if they've just posed for it and they're like, oh, I don't like it, I look really bad, delete it, I don't like it. And sometimes they do look like shit. But I'm like, that's not my fault.
Yeah.
You came out like that.
Yeah. It's fair. With Asylum as well, it's a lot of the things that everyone's wearing. Like, people go dressed as... Well, I've been dressed as God knows what before.
My favourite thing I remember from Asylum was... I think you were as a cowboy.
Oh, my gosh,
and you were just stood on the railing on your own.
I'll put the picture in now.
Looking down at everybody. And you just looked like a sheriff, like just watching his herd.
Yeah. You took a picture, didn't you? It was like Sheriff Dane watching over the cattle or something. I loved it, because the next morning I usually wake up and I've like got loads of drunk selfies and pictures with people, and that one came up and I was like, that is absolutely amazing.
I found a video on my phone this morning, and you must have taken it on your phone and sent it to me, because it was just you and your mate, and it's like the beat's getting high, it's going and you just lead to your mate in like before the drop and just go, Tim Saxby photography, and it goes I'm like, what's going on?
That is amazing.
It's real, and I like it when people send me that. They'll like video me at work,
and
then send it to their friend, and they're like, it's Tim, and they're like, who? what this kid is.
I think I got to a point this past year where it clicked in my head. It started to click in my head, being drunk on a night out, that you're taking everyone's pictures and no one takes yours. So I started going around and it's like, Tim, I'm taking your picture.
I actually really appreciate it because, like, when I like have to like set up a Tinder or anything like that, I'm like, I want no pictures of me.
All these pictures of everyone else.
Everybody else. Or I'm in it because sometimes people want photos with the photographer, so I'll take one. But then I'm like, I can't put that on.
Yeah.
So when you take ones, I'm like, I'll have that.
Yeah. I use all of these work pictures. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, they were quite good. I do appreciate it.
So how was it that you first got into photography? Has it always been something that you've enjoyed, or has it been something that like sparked it recently?
I've always been into films and filmmaking. Right. I always really wanted a camera when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I went for like various cameras. Only like little DSLR, you know, like 60 quid things like I got as Christmas presents and stuff. And then I had an apprenticeship where I was doing like all their social media stuff.
Okay.
And it was just, I didn't enjoy any of it because a lot of it was algorithm and stuff like that and messaging clients and stuff like that. It got really boring. But every now and again, you'd get to go out and do the photos for the building site that they were on because it was like a building company.
Right.
So you get to go to the different locations and photograph the people working and edit them and bring them back into Lightroom and Photoshop.
And
that was really fun. And it got to a point where I was enjoying doing that so much that when my boss wasn't looking, because we shared an office, I'd just be photoshopping all sorts of stuff together and just like really sort of realised I liked it. So then when I got fired from that, I found a company in Hull that were like a freelance company. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest one in the UK is called Licklist.
Okay.
So it's almost...
Still not heard of it.
You'd probably recognise the logo. You'd recognise the logo because it appears on loads of nights out photos.
With the tongue?
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't even
exactly
need to search
it. Yeah. So it was like a Hull version of that.
Right.
And basically they sent me to just a nightclub in Hull. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, like, at that point, I wasn't a night out person. Didn't really like nightclubs at all. Wasn't really a big drinker. But it was kind of quite a nice way to sort of acclimatise to that environment almost.
Yeah.
And
like the gap across.
Yeah, even now, like when I go to a night out, I'm like, this is really boring.
Yeah.
But if I was getting paid for it, great, we're having a great time, everyone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started. But I used to do like stop motion and stuff like every kid, you know, get Lego out and stuff like that. So
I've done that. Yeah,
I think it's always sort of been there. But like people come up to me because obviously I studied at Hull Uni, and like, oh, do you do photography? I'm like, no, I do film studies because you see, photography is quite easy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it sounds difficult. No, to be fair, it's difficult depending on what you do. Like, I've got people who do like product photography and car shoots and stuff like that. But what I do is I put on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. I go to a nightclub for 2 hours.
Take pictures of
and
drunk
I just
people.
take pictures of drunk people. Obviously, once you've done it once and you know the settings for that club, it's almost like you just turn up and you do it. I hope my boss isn't listening because I paid deduction right away.
Getting 1 penny an hour now.
But no, it can vary. Like I did my very first wedding the other day.
Oh wow, okay.
And I edited them yesterday, and I think they look all right.
Right.
But they look naff compared to
like the night out ones that you used to.
But then, it was quite good at the wedding because it did get to a point where it turned into a disco, and I knew what I was doing. I was like, all right, we're fine now. We're
Get the asylum filter on.
I literally did. Yeah, I got like nightclub photography 1. Put that preset on. Oh, there we go, done.
So is there a lot of editing that goes into the ones, even though you've got like those presets for the nightclubs?
It sort of depends. So I do another club in Hull called the Welly Club.
Yeah.
And so there's an...
I'm not really familiar with that club.
I see you in there enough, Dave.
Yeah.
There's an upstairs and a downstairs, as you know. The upstairs is a small sort of room. It's probably about... this is really random, but probably about the average of about 2 living rooms in it. Okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to think what everybody can relate to.
Yeah. It's a fairly big room.
It's like 3 post offices, something like that. and it's really dark. So all you got to do is just put the flash on and take the pictures, and everything turns out kind of fine. Mm-hmm. And it's all emo grunge up there, isn't it? So you turn all the brightness down and you kind of bring all the shadows up, and it's easy.
Yeah.
And I've got a big fisheye lens on it, so you don't have to mess around with that. But then when you go downstairs, that's more indie, and they have different lights, the fog machine and stuff like that. So then you have to sort of change it. I've completely forgotten what your question was. But you have to change it.
You're on it. It's just like the editing process.
Yes. Oh, yeah, of course it was, yeah. So then when you go to edit those photos, you almost have to treat them as 2 separate clubs.
Right, okay.
Because you put the upstairs filter on the downstairs one, and everyone looks ill.
Yeah, it
looks
horrible.
really weird, yeah. Same with Asylum, actually, because they have the student union bar and stuff like that. But
yeah,
once you've done it once or twice, it's kind of okay. It's usually when I don't really know if there's an act on. That's a bit difficult because I can't.
They'll have all their stuff on.
Yeah, and there's always like 3 songs, no flash, and you can't get that close and stuff like that. And that's when it becomes a little difficult.
It was like that for Wes Nelson, wasn't it? They had confetti cannons going off.
What did Wes Nelson do? Did he DJ?
He's singing. He was singing.
Oh, yeah, no, I do remember.
Yeah, because it was me, you, and Abby was stood right at the back.
Yes, I remember now.
Thing,
yeah. Because I think I decided that night that I couldn't get close to him.
Yeah.
So I deliberately got far away and thought I'll just try and work with what I don't have.
Yeah. That's when I saw you and I was like, let's go stand with Tim.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I do remember that, and I got a really good photo that night actually. From that angle. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think of but then also I've worked really weird. Worked with Paul Chuckle and Dick and Dom.
Yeah,
and those are the sort of people who you can get really close to, because I
remember seeing the pictures of them. Yeah,
they're used to being on camera, so they're really comfortable with photographers coming up and sort of being like as close as we are now.
Yeah.
Especially with like Dick and Dom, like I got really close and was like on my knees at some point, like shooting up at them. And they were like pointing at the camera and doing all that, and they sort of know what they do.
They can engage with you.
Yeah, but then you work with some people. Like, I won't say who because you know who they are.
Yeah.
I read one of the messages back because I was going to show you it today, and the message the DJ sent me a message the next morning saying, "Can we swear on the podcast?"
Yeah.
He sent me a message the next morning saying, "Hi mate, really sorry I told you to fuck off last night. You tried to take my photo. I just get really into my mixing." I'm like, "That's
yeah, it's not a part of mixing, mate."
Yeah, it's weird.
That baffled my head. Then I was like, "He sent me a message. Can we swear on the podcast?" Why did he ask you that? What was it like for KSI then? Because obviously he's
was good.
With the cameras and stuff. He's obviously being YouTube, can obviously engage a lot with them. So was he the same as Dick and Dom and Paul Chuckle?
I think that came after Dick and Dom and Paul Chuckle. I think I think it was the next weekend, and my boss said you can't go on the stage.
Oh, right.
We know you did it with Dick and Dom, and it's fine, but you can't get on the stage because he has his dance routines and lasers, and there's like a whole. It's an act, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't see it, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah, and it's like where I would normally go and put all my stuff is all blocked off because he's got all his gear there and all his crew.
Right.
So it's like I sort of have to stand almost with the crowd. And he he didn't interact with the camera as much.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I think he was aware that I was there.
So and he gave you a few opportunities.
And he sort of came quite close now and again. And I think he could tell, and I could tell sometimes he was holding a position knowing it would make a good photo.
Yeah.
He wasn't going over and like pointing at the camera and giving thumbs up and stuff like that, but he sort of knew what was going on.
It's probably wouldn't really be right for him to do that either.
Yeah,
for
it's
those
a different
pictures
sort
to
of
come
vibe,
out. Yeah.
Because he's doing like if you, like, I recently did the Humber Street Sesh, which is like a whole music festival. And like, if one of the bands came up and was like started pointing at the camera, I'd be like, what the heck are you doing? Like, do your shot, I'll do mine.
I don't need you to point.
Yeah, I'm like, you're not Dominic Wood.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. So yeah, it really does depend on some of the acts. But I've never worked with anybody who I've gone. Actually, yeah, I have. Who's just been like an absolute melt. You know,
yeah.
The pigeon detectives.
So yeah. Who's been? So you don't get shouted at. Who's been the best person that you've group that you've been able to work with for that?
And the best one, I mean, I got really excited when I found out I was working with Dick and Dom. Like, ballistically excited, because when I started doing this, I sort of knew acts like that did the rounds. Sorry. And I was like, that would be cool if I could like photograph them one day. And then when I found out I was doing it, because no one tells me. I find out when all the students find out when it gets posted on social media. Yeah. So that was quite good. But like, I know in a few weeks I'm working with Bass Hunter.
Oh wow!
So that's quite cool. Yeah. I don't know if I'm doing the photos. I think I'm doing sound and lighting for him though. But
yeah, because you're kind of doing a mix now.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. But that was good fun. Actually, there was a guy who we had. I can't remember his name. I think he was from something like X on the Beach. Or something like that. I think he's called Joel or Jordan or something. I can't remember what it's called. But he came and did a set at Christmas.
Oh, and, No, I saw the posters for that, I think.
Yeah, and he was real sound, and he was real nice. And, like, I saw him afterwards. He did, like, a meet and greet with people. And I felt quite bad for him because not many people came to the meet and greet, because I feel like whatever series he had been on of his reality show was already, like, 4 years old.
Yeah.
So like people sort of knew who he was and came. Maybe like 30 people. Came and saw him, but like even he was slightly aware of it. He was making jokes about it. He was really cool about it. And then
that's nice. Then, so it's not like a big ego thing.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, what are you doing next Saturday?" And I was like, "I'm at work. I got another gig." And he was like, "Oh, if you cancel it, come here and photograph me doing this, and I'll pay you and stuff." And that's kind of like
that's really
kind of
nice
nice because it's like I think like you tend to find like it's usually you either have reality stars who are like
Full of
obnoxious,
themselves.
yeah, or some of them who are like really aware of the fact they've got 15 minutes of fame and they're just trying to
make the most of it.
Yeah, and
bring people up.
Yeah, I think he did that, which was real nice because I know like we had another one that was actually nice as well was Curtis Pritchard. Do you remember him from Love Island? And my girlfriend at the time, he did like a birthday message for her.
Oh, that's
and he was
cool,
like real nice about it and stuff like that. I know like people like think he's real weird now, don't they? Like I literally saw a TikTok the other day and he was like, Curtis Pritchard gives me the biggest icks ever.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, poor dude. I was like, he's just trying. He's just trying, but like
the whole ick thing annoys me.
Yeah, but he was nice when I met him. Actually, it was real funny because my girlfriend, I'll see if I can find it. My girlfriend at the time, she was called Lizzie. It was her 21st, and I was like, I waited till everybody had seen him, and I said, "Do you mind doing a birthday message for my girlfriend? It's her 21st. I can't find it. It's my girlfriend's her 21st. She's called Lizzie." And he went, "Yeah, all right." And I got my camera up, and I went, "Hey, look what I'm with." And I spun it around, and he went, "Hey, I've forgotten everything." Like almost like straight away, like from me saying it. And I had like so the whole video is like me telling him what to say.
Yeah,
it's like, her name's Lizzie, and he's like, "Hi, Lizzie," and I'm like, "It's her 21st birthday," and he's like, "Happy 21st!" Yeah. And I'm like, "Fair dues, dude."
You may as well have said this yourself.
I may as well just done it myself. Yeah,
just panned round to him at the end, and he just smiled away. That would literally be better.
Yeah, no, that was good fun though. Yeah.
So what's the most drunk that you've seen someone at maybe not just the uni club, just clubs around uni? Because I know me and my mates have been in some states in front of you.
Surprisingly, isn't the most drunk I see people.
Right.
It's outside of uni in Goole.
Which
is like for those who don't know, it's like a town which is about half an hour away from Hull.
Yeah.
It's like on the like Hull, Driffield, Doncaster. It's like around that sort. It's between Hull and Doncaster. Yeah.
Oh, I only get the train to go past school.
if you get the train to Hull, you're going past school.
You go through it. Yeah.
Yeah. And people there get paralytic. Like I went for my 23rd birthday because I knew it was going to be a free night out because I worked at one of the clubs.
Was that Chaos?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I knew it was going to be a free night out, so I just got absolutely mental.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where I woke up like even like. It was 23. Yeah, it was my last birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And even like 3 days later, I was like, "This was a mistake." But no, that place is weird. It wasn't weird, but like how drunk people got compared to everywhere else. I remember having to take someone to A&E once.
Oh,
because this is what happens when you're the photographer. So I was the photographer there.
I was about to be like, this is what happens in Goole.
Yeah, I was the photographer there for literally as long as it was open. Basically, it closed last weekend.
Yeah, fairly recently.
Yeah. And basically, because you're not official staff, you're contracted, you have a lot of free time and stuff. And I've been there long enough that I was friends with everybody there.
Yeah.
Like, some places you come and if you, like, stand around chatting with customers, they're like, "What are you doing? Go back to work."
Oh.
But with there, it was, like, really kind of chill and
it
was real fine. And, like, they had steps out the back into the beer garden, and it had been raining or winter or something, and they were iced up. And this woman stepped on it, fell, and dislocated her arm.
Oh, wow.
So I had to take myself, my colleague Lily, the dislocated woman, and her friend to like A&E in Doncaster or somewhere like that.
Right.
And like they're in the back. She's sat behind me, and my boss is like, "I'm gonna pay you for this. Put your foot down." So like, I'm like driving away to Doncaster like 3 a.m. It's only like half hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And but because we're on a motorway, and then you come off that into like little streets and stuff, and every roundabout was just
Oh, yeah.
As her arm like, and then I remember coming
slip into the car,
and I remember like coming around to open the door to let her out because obviously she couldn't do it because her arms come off.
Yeah.
And like she literally,
I love the descriptions of it.
Like she came out like one hand in her pocket and like the other one like touching her knee.
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, that's not that's really bad."
That
but
goes
I've,
through
I've
me.
never dislocated. Well, apparently I dislocated an arm when I was like 3 months old, but I've never broken a bone or anything, so I don't really.
I can do this with my shoulders.
Oh, you can always crack it.
Yeah,
I can do that with my toes.
I can do that with my toes.
I can just go like that all the time, like wrinkle, like almost like a Mr. Burns sort of thing.
Yeah,
with my toes, and they will just crack all the time. It's really weird.
Well, everyone always used to say if you did that, then you get arthritis.
I don't think you do.
Well, we'll find out eventually.
But I feel like we'd already know that, because surely someone did it beforehand and they've got arthritis now.
I know. I feel like I saw something a while ago saying we've gone very off topic with this, but I saw someone a while ago that said that they'd done a test, like a scientific experiment, where they spent their life from like a certain age onwards cracking one hand, and then they didn't crack the other.
Oh wow!
And they just didn't end up with arthritis.
Well, there you go then.
Whether that's true or not, because
can you do your neck?
No, that's the one that goes.
Headphones
are coming off.
Yeah, that's one that I get that I quite like.
Yeah,
It's weird. I don't know.
That's the one that goes through.
Do you watch
me,
those videos on YouTube of like people pulling blackheads out and stuff like that?
No, I know people that do though.
Yeah, I don't search for it, but when it comes up on my TikTok, I'm like, oh, here we go, may as well.
Yeah. Your entire search history, pimples popping,
earwax removal, blackheads,
I've seen them,
ingrown hairs, stuff like that.
I've seen it where they pull like all the earwax out.
How do people get like that? I've never understood it.
I don't know.
I do my ears like every day. I know you shouldn't.
Yeah, so
because you're not meant to put those fingers in your ear. Yeah.
I love how the question this is stemmed from is, what's the drunkest you've seen people on a night out? Listen, I know you're not supposed to use earbuds in your ear. But...
There's another guy, if we go back to it.
Yeah.
All I'll say is I don't think he was just drunk, because he would turn up every single night, Friday, Saturday, and would stand in the same place and just interpret dance to himself. Right. You've seen The Office, like David Brent. Like, he's doing all that, like dancing to himself. And then what he would do is, like, there was little podiums on the side where, like, the generators and the whatever was kept for the club to keep it running.
Right.
But obviously hidden under, like, disguises and stuff.
Yeah, not out there for everyone to see.
And he would just stand there. I remember watching one, I think, what's he doing? And I looked across at the DJ next to me, Jordan Cable, and he's DJing, he's got all, like, the disc running and stuff like that, and he's pulling the faders up and down. And I watched this guy, and he's obviously so coked up, he's imagined his own DJ deck, and it wasn't like he was just, like, scratching. He was turning the nozzle, doing everything, And I was like, credit. It's like, he's got this club going.
Yeah. It's fair. That's what I used to do when, not the drug side of it, obviously. the like faking DJ. When I used to go up with Jack right at the very start, at the start of second year, when he knew just how to DJ, and I never touched a deck in my life. I'd be on like the ones that didn't do anything next to it, and just like, when Jack would like turn around for a sip of water, I'd like, right, me pretend I'm doing something for a second. That'll do. Yep.
Because I've DJed a little bit, and like, I don't DJ like you do, or like what my DJing is. I'm gonna play this song, and I think that's gonna go well into this song. I don't scratch and mix and stuff like that. But which kind of makes it really easy, because it's just lining up a song and pushing play. So you've got to kind of make it look like you're doing something. I'm not Paul chuckling it. I'm not. Okay, I'll say in a minute. But like, it's real strange, because like you'll just have the fader down because and it'll be queued up. And you'll just like absolutely just flick it up.
Yeah, you have to do a solid. It's always the hand and the form afterwards. Yeah. So I've always found like you can see it comes back down a bit, and then afterwards I'm like, now I've got to push it all the way up. Now I've got to fix what I've just done.
Yeah. But no,
it is like the whole DJ thing though. But yeah, like you say with Paul Chuckle, that's like actually on my list to talk about.
Is it? Go on. What's your question?
The question was honest opinion of Paul Chuckle.
Honest opinion of Paul Chuckle is a legend. I spoke to him afterwards, very very briefly. Like, give me a fist bump, and I was like, "Oh, that was brilliant, well done, man." But you know, the truth is he's not actually DJing.
Yeah, he seemed obviously I was drunk in the crowd, but he did seem like a sound guy to get on with and stuff. Yeah. But it was what he was doing like that. He was just having his hands up.
It was
and
this,
the song
wasn't it? So he'd have his hands, and he sort of wiggled them
that
up,
was it, yeah.
Wiggled them up and wiggled them to another side.
Like he was playing a piano.
Yeah,
like went slowly,
like a U-shaped piano. Yeah. I saw a TikTok of him actually, literally like 3 days ago doing it, and like he's got his hands in the air. And then the music gets louder. As it fades back up, and he's like, brings his hands down real quick. And I'm like, bless him. But, but I think he must already have a mix that is playing.
Yeah, it could be something that he's already done. Yeah. Because I've thought about doing it before as well. I've not done it because I'd feel guilty. But I've thought about doing it before where if you're doing a lot on the deck at one time, then you can pre-record it at time you do it right, and then just play that section. But
the thing is though, like people paid to come and see Paul Chuckle. They didn't pay to come and see Paul Chuckle do a sick DJ set. Yeah. They don't care what music is playing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Dick and Dom's slightly different, because I feel like they're now branding themselves as DJs, and it's like, come and see. I think they do like drum and bass. I think, do they?
Oh, I do not remember that night.
But I know like they advertise themselves as playing a certain type of music.
Yeah.
So it's like if they then don't do it themselves. And what I noticed that night as well, it was more. Hang on, which one is it? It was more Dick doing the DJing. And more
Dom like, getting the crowd going. Yeah.
So I feel like they've got a nice balance where obviously Paul Chuckle is just Paul Chuckle. So
yeah,
he just kind of, and like people just turn up to see him. That's kind of what it's for.
It was worth it. I remember us being front row, and I was filming him his little dances, and he pointed over, and I thought he was pointing at me, and then he was pointing at Abby instead. And Abby was like, "Paul Chuckle's just looks at me." I was like, "If he's flirting, flirt back. You go for it." That's Paul Chuckle up there.
That's like that James A. Casterfee. You heard about that where his girlfriend left him for Rowan Atkinson?
Oh yeah, Rowan
Like, can you imagine? What happened to you and Abby when she left me? Who thought?
Paul Chuckle. What a story! I mean, you gotta give respect on that one.
I remember that night because where I stand is basically side of the stage, so I can see from where I stand, I can see the crowd and the act, and I could just see you leaning on the barrier, looking at it, going, "He's not even touching it."
I'm guessing you, Ben.
You're going, he's not touching it.
I'm like, DJ,
No.
Paul's not. No. His hands are up here. Yeah. The songs are changing. No, fair play to him though to go up and do that. It takes guts to do it.
It is scary DJing. Like I said, I've only done it now and again, and I only really do punk pop sort of emo stuff, and that's because it's easy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I can mix Heaven into Pretty Green Eyes. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't do that. I don't know how you would even do that. But
there's some songs that are very, very easy to mix into it. You just have to loop a bit and then start playing.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Yeah.
Well, I'll teach you that. But they're like the main ones that I do. Like best mixes that I'd say are like those ones because they're very simple and with a bit of practice on them, you can line them up and get them done right in the club. But it is like, I've had some club nights where I've been like shaking and I'm like, oh my God, I hope this works.
Yeah.
It's the practice that goes into it. And like I say, it's not like a pre-recorded thing that I just press play and it's go. It's like, oh, well, I've worked hard on this and I've got one chance to show everybody else. Yeah. And it's like, if I mess it up, then
I remember I did an indie night once. I remember like practicing it for like 2 weeks. Not even practicing it, but like I made a Spotify playlist of the order I thought the songs would go in.
Right.
And then basically just fine-tuned that so that when it came to the DJ night, I was almost just putting the songs in the next order all the time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that works.
Yeah, well, it's a very fun thing, and doing like the DJ battles and everything as well.
Yeah.
You've obviously been there photographing a lot of like the highlights of us DJing at uni, which has been really cool to have you there.
I enjoy it. Well. It's good because I remember when it was because at the uni they have Jam Radio, which is what you still part of Jam.
Not now. Now I've left. I'm more like an alumni member.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's Jam Radio and there's Crystal Clear, which is like the more DJ.
That is the DJ society. Yeah.
And they did a night.
Whereas Radio, who does DJing,
and then there was like they did like the night back-to-back night, and like it's so cool like when you see your friends up there doing stuff. It's really exciting, and it's been one of those things where my other friends who were DJs, and then I became their mates.
Yeah,
but whereas with you guys, I knew you, and then I saw you DJing. It's like, they're killing it. And I remember when Ben came, because Ben was in here doing something, and then he went across, because was it Halloween?
When I was DJing.
Yeah, and I remember Ben, he was like, Dane's got 3 songs set aside. Oh, I've set 3 songs aside that I can play.
Oh,
and one of them was the Simple Plan Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And it went off.
It did,
I was like, that is such a good shout. It's only like 30 seconds, so it doesn't matter if it's rubbish.
Yeah, you can send it in and send it out.
Yeah, but everyone really enjoyed it.
Well, there was like 2,000 people there that night, wasn't
it? Mental. Yeah, it was. Yeah, because I remember... No, there was more. There was about 3,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because it got to at one point and I left to go to another club in Hull.
Oh, yeah.
And I got there, there was like 30. And I just got straight back in the car and came straight back.
Yeah, everyone's in a silence.
Yeah, so I just stayed there. Yeah.
I remember that week because it was the walkout Wednesday or that one on the actual Wednesday that's normally the asylum night.
Yeah, so everybody then came to the weekend.
The Sunday, which was Halloween, which I feel like if that didn't happen on the Wednesday... then everyone would have come to Asylum and then maybe somewhere else on the Sunday, because it was Asylum and everything on the Sunday. So it was so packed in there. It was a really, really good night.
It was a good night as well. I feel like maybe that walkout stuff encouraged. Let me try and rephrase the way I'm going to say it. It encouraged people to come out and support the movement that they had boycotted on the Wednesday. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And obviously, it was all for a good cause for it as well.
It's mental, all that, isn't it? Like I see so much of it, and it's crap.
It is
because like I'm one of the only sober people in that place.
Yeah.
So like you spot so many creeps, and when I've been dating people who are at the club, like It's really weird. So like my most recent girlfriend, like there'll be times when I'm out and she's like, "This guy's doing my head in," and it's real weird because it's like, well, I'm like here as an employee, but I'm also here as boyfriend.
But I will fight him.
I will punch him out. It's like, no, I'm gonna go with my mate. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Like, what about him? Just give me the word on it.
And then like secretly I'm going, thank God.
Yeah, I'm like, his muscles are bigger than my head. My God, I wouldn't have made out of it with my cameras.
I remember once someone was annoyed at a photo I'd taken of them. Mm-hmm. Basically, what happens is I take a picture and I tend just to walk off straight away.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you end up showing it and everybody wants 4 and then they want. It just goes on forever.
It's too much, yeah.
So I just tend to walk off and then like this guy was like, come back, show me it. And I was like, I showed him it and it looks rubbish. And I made a joke about how he looked some rubbish in it. Mm-hmm. And then he went for us.
What, really?
Yeah,
what, as in swung for you?
Yeah, it was in here. It was
wow.
And he went for me, like started charging at me. And then normally, what would normally happen, he says confidently, not in this situation, is I would probably stand my ground. But I had like this big camera with me, so I just legged it. Yeah. I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, I remember this one time in school that this guy called Tom had his big camera. He was very into photography, like you.
Yeah.
And so there was like a basketball or football swinging round where he was, and it hit his camera. Camera fell and camera broke, and I felt so bad for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was just walking past innocently.
Yeah.
And he was just fuming at them, and I've never forgot it. Just because I was like, I feel so bad for him.
Every now and again, I'll see stuff on my TikTok, and it'll be like just someone. I think there's one of like a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
And there's like the bride and groom walking up the aisle, and he's walking backwards. But then he walks into a fountain.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, no. Because he's like, not only has he got the camera in his hand, he's got like, nerd. He's got his belt on with everything around him. I'm like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
What a shame.
It is naff.
But, so, we're talking about, obviously, drunk people on nights.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that was the question.
And so, you saying that, yeah, you're not really that into going out and not really into drinking on nights out and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've missed out being at uni, working
That's
at the
a really
asylum
interesting
nights?
question. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, because I've never ever been to a tower night out.
Yeah.
And I've been to
you've been to
every
all of them.
single one,
Yeah.
but I've never been out at
Yeah.
one. The last time I properly went out to one was the very last one, whatever it is.
And you
now.
worked half of it, didn't you?
I worked half of it, and I told my boss because it was the end of year ball, and it was my
Yeah.
last year. I was like, I've never been to one. I'm gonna work half of it, and I'm gonna go out.
Yeah.
But I still had to drive back, so I couldn't get drunk and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
But I suppose I feel like I've missed out in that regards. But then I'm not really part of many societies. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really know if I would have gone out anyway.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But then me doing the photography stuff has probably opened more doors at university
than going out and getting
yeah,
drunk
like
every week.
I've met more people through it. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think it's probably more beneficial in the long run than what it has.
Oh no, it definitely would.
Like if I hadn't done it, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I
So
suppose
I met you
not.
through me doing that, and I met Ben Redfern through doing that.
Through doing it, really.
And the job I'm doing now,
you got because of that.
Yeah, so I think it's probably
It's definitely worked out for you.
Yeah.
To be honest, if everyone, I'm not saying everyone shouldn't go out on a Wednesday, but if everyone like did what they wanted to do rather than going out on a Wednesday each and every single week, then they'd be in a much better position as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Myself included. But I knew that at the time, and I still went out every single week. But like I said, there was some Wednesdays where we did go out and DJ, but it's a good thing that you can like see that balance of, yeah, you didn't get to do this, but instead you like benefited all of this from it instead.
And there was a nice balance. Like sometimes when I was at that club in Gould before it shut down, it was like I could have a drink there and stuff because that's how chill it was, and like I could do my job. It was also a hotel, so I could do my job for some of the night, have a few drinks, stay out with some friends, and just stay over.
Yeah.
So there was never. So I kind of probably compensated it for that.
Yeah.
And with Welly as well, if it's kind of that, I usually finish there about 1:30, 2ish, and the club doesn't close till 3.
Yeah, you can.
So
you can
if I've
finish
got
off.
mates out, I'll usually just stick my stuff in their bag and hang around with them. But then there's a really awkward thing of I'm completely sober.
Yeah.
And you're all wasted, and I'm like, I'm not as tall as you,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
quite tall. And I don't know how you feel about dancing in clubs. I'm very self-conscious of it because I
need
know
to get
that,
drunk.
Yeah, I need to be drunk to like be able to let loose.
Yeah.
And like when I'm completely sober, I'm just like freeze up like mad. It was
yeah.
The other night I was at Welly and I was talking with this girl at the bar because we were both waiting for our drinks and stuff. and Sam Fender came on. And she went, "Oh, do you like Sam Fender?"
It's like Sam Fender just went up to the bar as well.
And
What are you doing here?
What are you doing? And he came and she's like, "Oh, do you like Sam Fender?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And she started dancing. She's like, "Don't you dance?" I'm like, "No,
No,
not while I'm sober.
tonight.
I don't work."
Yeah, yeah.
So no, not right now. No.
It is a bit of a weird thing. I've been on sober nights out before.
Yeah.
But I've had to have like a solid 2 Red Bulls before
Yeah.
going out just to give me the energy.
Yeah.
I then have energy to give out. Then if I'm sober, I'm getting tired as well.
Oh, yeah,
moving
well.
around. It's like it's not like there is a thing of like I don't want to dance. I'll probably feel like stupid. But then
Yeah.
it's also I don't have the energy and the momentum.
It's a
to
bit
do
like
it.
karaoke. Like I've always wanted to do karaoke, but I've never wanted to do it here. I'd like to do it somewhere no one knows me.
Yeah.
So I probably could go out sober and have a dance in a club, but it'll have to be somewhere like Brighton. You know, where I don't know anybody there and I wouldn't have to worry. Whereas here, someone usually not to sound big-headed, but someone normally...
you're photographer at pretty much every club that everyone goes
So
to.
someone normally bumps into me or recognises me or knows someone who I know. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
It's an interesting one. So we've spent the better part of half an hour pretty much talking about photography and dislocated shoulders.
Yes.
So to switch it up, just to finish it off, because I know what was your podcast called?
Flaming Movies.
That's the one.
Yep.
So obviously you're a big movie guy.
Yes.
Probably more than myself. So I'm going to try and hold my own in this conversation. But I want to ask you what you think the greatest movie franchise of all time is.
Ah, that's a tough one.
Because I know you're. The reason I thought of this was on the train here this morning. I saw something that was about Back to the Future,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, Tim loves that. I have to bring that up at some point."
Well, that was when it was before you said franchise. So I was
Yeah.
going to say Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Best franchise. It's not Star Wars and it's not Marvel. It's not
Mm-hmm.
DC. It's not Terminator. Because I just feel like they're kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It probably is Back to the Future, to be honest, because it's got quite a good video game and there's some good comics in there as well.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what? I think it's one of those things where the movie started something and then it expanded off, sort of come off from the movies,
Yeah.
rather than the movies being based on something else.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got an opinion on it. Then, if it's based on something. then-
Exactly right. Yeah, and it's one of those things as well with Back to the Future where the sole creators have always been at the heart of whatever it is that's been spun off. It's not like Marvel going, we're going to give Fox this. Do you know what I mean? And Fox
Yeah,
go off and
yeah.
make it and like, Stan Lee's not the centre of it anymore or something
Yeah,
daft
yeah.
like that. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of
It's
whereas
like Sony with Spider-Man and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Whereas with Back to the Future, it's always been Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale at the centre of it. So no matter what happens, it's always got their approval.
Yeah.
And you kind of get used to trusting that. I've never seen or read something with Back to the Future and gone, that was rubbish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's your favourite film out of the three of them?
Number one.
Yeah,
Number
I'd
one,
have to back
number one, number three, number two. And you're going to say number one, number two, number three.
What was the plot of the second one?
The second one's the hoverboards one with where they go into the future.
I do like that scene.
That's why. But if you watch it, you'll notice they're only in the future for like 15 minutes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's like they're hardly in it very long. And then the third one's the Wild West one.
Yeah, I remember
that
because that
one's-
one's very different to the other two.
Yeah, and I never used to like that one as a kid. But then when I've watched them now,
Now you've matured.
I've matured. I can appreciate the art of Back to the Future. I prefer. I think they've swapped around a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first one is iconic though.
What's yours? What's your favorite franchise?
It wouldn't be Back to the Future,
Yeah.
although I am a big fan of Back to the Future. I'm massive on Marvel, but as a franchise, I don't know. Definitely films. At the moment, I definitely have to say Marvel.
Yeah.
What do you think about the future of Marvel at the moment?
Don't know. It's all. I think there's a lot.
'Cause I think it's been loved up until the past couple of years.
Yeah.
and everyone's just hitting it now.
Yeah, I feel like it's oversaturated itself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to think what the most recent thing is. It's
She-Hulk,
She-Hulk, isn't it?
yeah.
And I haven't watched any of She-Hulk.
Right.
Just
She-Hulk's probably finished by the time this comes out.
There's probably like series 3's out by now.
Yeah.
The rate's not good. But there's certain things I'm looking forward to. Like I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah.
forward to Blade, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
But-
because that's all up in the air at the moment.
But I'm only really looking forward to the Spider-Man stuff because I'm interested in the film industry,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm more interested in the weird story I know that's going to take before the film comes out.
right,
Like
right.
I know there's going to be. He's not in it anymore. He's in it now. He's directing it. Now she's directing it. Now it's this
Yeah.
studio. And you know what I mean? It's going to be all over the place. So
So you're more looking forward to like the build-up of
Yeah.
everything that's going to be revealed about it rather than the actual film.
yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else Marvel I'm looking forward to. Blade, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man.
These Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty.
It doesn't interest me anymore.
Really?
Really weird, yeah. I don't know why. It will when it comes out.
Yeah, but it is a bit away.
It's too far away. It's like 3 years.
It's 2026.
It's ridiculous, yeah. And I just can't get, because I forget about it. Like, we'll get excited about it now, and then in 2 hours ago.
Yeah. What was that again?
Yeah. I was looking forward to Armor Wars, but they never, made an announcement about that at Comic-Con as well. So.
I don't know what's happening with that, because they've released, Phase 5 and 6 now?
Yeah.
And Phase 6 still has loads of slots in it, but it's not in Phase 5.
Oh.
I think in Phase 6, it starts with Fantastic Four, then in the same year, it's the 2 Avengers films.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I see.
But yeah, there's had a lot of hate for it at the moment. I was talking about it on another podcast about how Phase 4 has just been absolutely slated.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of been a reset point after Endgame is what I think they was going for, which is now they have to slowly introduce more people.
Yeah.
And because they've now got a lot of momentum behind them, they're adding in more and more people than they did at the start when it was just Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, throw in Hawkeye, Hulk, and Black Widow when you can.
What did you think to Eternals?
I didn't mind it when it first came out, and then it's the thing of everyone gets on it and it starts pointing things out. It's hard not to focus on it, but that's why whenever anyone asks me on it, I'm like, well, it has kind of now been hit with everyone's pointing these things out. So now well, you've got a point, but I didn't see that before. And
I get sucked up by fan service a lot, and then it takes me about a month to go, actually, that movie was bad.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Doctor Strange 2, I didn't really like.
Right.
I don't like it now, but when I saw it, I was like, yeah, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, that's great.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hang on, the movie wasn't about that.
Yeah.
The movie was whatever the story was. I can't even remember.
It was Wanda trying to get a kid.
That was it, yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool, whatever.
Well, one of my mates pointed it out to me about Doctor Strange, that between the point when America Chavez sends Doctor Strange and herself into the John Krasinski universe, 838 I think it was, from that point up until the very end when America Chavez learns to use her powers, nothing changes in the film. Nothing's added to the story, because nothing impacts her trying to use her powers.
Yeah.
There's genuinely nothing other than Doctor Strange possessing a dead corpse. If no one's watched this film, it's very out of context. Possessing a dead corpse, being like, you can do it. And she's like, I can do this, actually.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Yeah.
Everything else is quite cool to see. I feel like there should have been a lot more multiverse stuff in there, considering it's a multiverse film. But what we did get was quite cool, but it just didn't impact it at all.
Yeah, I remember when Patrick Stewart appeared, I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And then,
why is he there?
And then, instantly killed him 5 minutes later. I was like, what's the point of that? I feel like because they did that, they may as well just cast someone else to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like they did with John Krasinski. They may as well have put Bryan Cranston in that chair. And wheeled him out and, made him do something.
It was cool to see them. Black Bolt as well, but then they were all just gone now.
Yeah.
it is cool, and it'll be interesting to see how they lead out with the Fantastic Four and things like that.
Do you think he'll be in it?
I don't think so.
No, I don't. I feel like it was really good fan art.
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember when watching it, I was thinking, it's kind of a flat performance almost.
I think he didn't get that much screen time for it.
John Krasinski's great. I liked him in Jack Ryan.
Oh yeah, Jack Ryan, yeah.
And he's really good in that.
The Amazon Prime one.
Yeah, but I remember when I saw him as Mr. Fantastic, I was just like, he's just sat there just spewing dialogue.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, this is like, you've got all these really cool characters and they're just sat in chairs.
Yeah.
Like they could have been introduced so much better, and then when we actually see their powers, they're
done within seconds.
Yeah, they're eliminated. So it's kind of like, that was kind of.
It might have been cool to see them a bit before and then see the build up to them even just getting to Central Park or wherever the Illuminati was based in that.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think it was more just a case of everyone wanted John Krasinski to be Mr. Fantastic, so they casted him. I was like, well, there you go, you've had it now. Yeah. Now let's go with the one that we're actually going to go
I've
for.
seen backlash to it since, of people sort of, like you said, like people who then realise stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is like a lot of, that was great, we got what we wanted, and then people go, actually, it was kind of meh.
Yeah. It was a similar thing with, kind of a similar thing with Thor, the most recent one.
Yeah, I never saw it, but my friend Harrison came out and he texted me. So I was like, let me know what you think. And I'm like, you might go and see it because I have to do a podcast on it.
Yeah.
And he just came out and he texted me. He said, Thor is a flaming bag of garbage.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh.
It's a good film all in all, but there was too much comedy in there for it. It definitely doesn't deserve, I was saying this before, it definitely doesn't deserve the hate that it's getting.
Yeah.
But because it didn't live up to Ragnarok,
Exactly
it's a step down. So everyone's like, oh, it's not better. So this is horrible. This deserves 0%.
Have you ever seen a movie that you didn't like and then watched it again and gone, actually, that's quite good? So that's what I did with The Last Jedi, because I was like one of those people who's like, I can't believe they killed Luke Skywalker. What? Oh, have they done that? And then I watched it. I'm like, actually, it's not too bad.
I think mentioning Star Wars, it took me a few times of watching Episode 1 to get into it, but it was as I was younger, and I just stick it on, and it got past pod racing, and I was like, okay, well, this has been fun. Yeah. But and then I was like, right, okay. And then years had passed, I'd forget everything that happened, and the same thing had happened. Yeah. I'm like, oh, pod racing, I can't remember this.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun. And then it only got until it took the second film when I could kind of see Anakin turning that I was then like, oh, this might be leading to somewhere. I kind of like to see where this is going.
Someone sent me a thing the other day. It was like how you should watch the Star Wars movies.
Is it the machete cut?
Yeah, and I hated it because I was like, well, that's wrong.
It completely cuts out one of the films.
It does, doesn't it? Or it makes one of the films a flashback or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember someone sent it to me and they said, oh, what do you think of this? And I think I said, well, it's a cool idea, but it's just making something that we all say is bad worthwhile. It's like saying, well, it's bad, but we're going to put it in this context because then it's excusable if it's bad.
Yeah.
That shouldn't really be the case. If it's bad, it's bad. Do you know what I mean?
Don't watch it.
Yeah. Like, I don't watch Back to the Future 2, which isn't a bad movie, but I don't watch it go, I'm going to pretend
this didn't happen.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Let me find a way around this.
Yeah.
Someone edited the Obi-Wan series as a film.
This, yeah.
I've not watched it, but
I feel that should have been a film.
Yeah, I think it originally was, but then there was something that put them off making it a film because they didn't think everyone would like it. And then
I think it was probably Solo, wasn't it? When
it was, because that one didn't do as well as they'd hoped.
I thought Solo was okay.
I thought it was. I thought Solo was the best. But no, it was a good film.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer watching like the main timeline of it, but it was a nice little sidestep.
What do you think to Kenobi? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed Kenobi,
yeah.
I've not seen that much negative things on it actually.
The thing is, I can't honestly remember if I finished it.
No, it's alright. It's definitely worth finishing, but I do feel like it would have been cool as a film.
Because I was the same with Mandalorian. I watched all the first series of that, and then I think I watched the first episode of Book of Boba Fett, and then I was like, this is just nothing.
Boba Fett is so slow until the Mandalorian comes into it.
I got halfway through the very last episode.
It's probably worth finishing.
Yeah.
But Book of Boba Fett that was so slow. I don't know if it's episode 4 or 5 when the Mandalorian comes into it, and it's an episode just about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's the Luke Skywalker one as well, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either that one or the one following it is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Why not just do a series about something like that then? That's clearly what they want to do.
It would have been a lot better, I think, to do that as Mandalorian season 3 and add Boba Fett in there rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest on Star Wars, but I do like it.
Yeah, I used to be really into it. I got a Facebook memory yesterday, and it was like 7 years ago today. I first watched Star Wars.
Right.
I never watched it as a kid. I only watched it because The Force Awakens was coming out.
And you caught up on it?
And I knew that was going to be a big thing, so I was like, well, I've got to watch everything before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really into it for a while. And then same with Marvel, just constant stuff all the time, and it's just like I can't keep up.
Yeah, it's a lot to go for at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm definitely still on the train with Marvel, but I've not watched everything with Star Wars.
Do you watch all the Marvel? Do you watch everything with Marvel?
Yeah, I've not watched the most recent episode of She-Hulk.
Have you watched I Am Groot?
I have that. I was expecting so much for that. You know, I don't know why I was. It was advertised as like 5 or 6 shorts, and I was like, oh, these are gonna be so fun. I was watched them all in one go, and I was just like.
See, this is what I hear from loads of Marvel fans. Is I expected so much more.
Well, I think with a lot of the films and stuff, I can appreciate like
it's mainly with the TV stuff I hear that. Though.
Yeah, but even with like Moon Knight was great. I loved that. WandaVision and Loki, even Falcon.
Oh, I loved Loki. I thought Loki was fantastic.
They were all really good. It was just Groot. There was literally like 2-minute videos of just him dancing, and I was just like this. It's funny to see.
It's just a long TikTok, is it?
Yeah, it really is. And there's 6 of them. And I was just like, well, Like, it's cool to see Groot and stuff.
That's
and then,
something they could have just released one day. They didn't really need to do a
Yeah,
D23
yeah.
about it or whatever.
yeah, exactly. It was just one of those.
Sounds a bit like, have you seen Man vs. Bee on Netflix?
I've seen it advertised.
It's quite funny.
Yeah,
I've watched it. It's that Rowan Atkinson thing where he's basically Mr. Bean versus a bee.
yeah.
And I've watched it twice.
Is that really good?
There's like 7 or 8 episodes. They're all about 10, 20 minutes each.
Right.
First time I watched it, it was like a Sunday, and I just put it on and
See what this is,
we just
yeah.
watched it, and it was like, oh, this was a laugh.
Yeah.
And then the next time I watched it, me and my friend had nothing to do,
Nice.
and he went, oh, look, Man vs. Bee. I went, I've already seen it, but let's watch it. And I watched it because obviously once you've seen it once, everything is so predictable.
Yeah.
And it was like, so like the first episode, so it's like basically him looking after this house, and they're telling him all the things he should be careful of. And then, like, as I'm watching it, I'm looking at my friend going, just remember that very key detail. Like, the dog must not go in this room, and he must always eat this food, otherwise he will poo himself.
It will come back into play, yeah.
Just remember that. Because in episode 4, when the dog shits itself, it'll be beneficial for you too.
Yeah. So that's a little callback for you happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. But no, it was alright. It was good.
I might end up giving it a watch. Have you got one recommendation from across all platforms?
What, something to watch?
So to what? Or it could be a film as well.
Something
Just not Back to the Future, though.
No. Brian and Charles.
Okay.
Which was a movie. It was the second episode of Flaming Movies we ever did, and it's still my favourite movie of the year. It's a little British movie. I don't think it's on any streaming, so it might be quite hard to find.
Okay.
But have you ever seen Derek, the Ricky Gervais?
No.
Have you seen Afterlife?
I've seen bit. I started to watch Afterlife.
So you know the creepy guy who lives in the village? Like,
yeah, I think I've got some memory.
Can't remember what it's. Oh, I think it's called Brian.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we played by an
name.
actor called David Earl.
Okay.
He's, for those who watch Derek, he plays Kev in Derek, like the creepy old guy in that as well. And it's basically, he's like an inventor in Wales or Scotland or somewhere, and then he just builds himself a robot.
Oh.
But like the robot is called Charles Petrescu,
Right.
and it's got like a little mannequin's head and a cardboard box for a body, and it's like this weird adventure they go on, and it's just fucking hilarious.
Living the life.
It is so like I watched it and I had to go to like a little independent cinema to find it. There was me and 2 other people in there. These 2 other people were clearly like proper film reviewers, like they're like making notes.
Right.
And I'm like wiping tears out my eyes, like, laughing like that, just because it's, you know, when you're like, this is so stupid
That it's enjoyable.
It's really funny, but it's not like stupid like you know, like Bob Mortimer and Vic Reeves, that sort of like really sort of daft comedy, which is still funny. But it's kind of just like, this is like, when I was watching it, I was like, what on earth am I watching? So yeah, that's what I'd recommend, Brian and Charles. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, Tim.
I really enjoyed
We've
it.
almost made this to an hour, which
Wow.
will make you the first guest and current longest episode.
There we go. I like that. You should have a chart.
Just
Like a
Tim,
Top Gear
Tim's winning
leaderboard.
everything.
Yeah.
We'll get one up in the studio.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, well, thank you very much. Do you want to say about your Instagram and your other podcast as well?
Yeah, so my other podcast is Flaming Movies, and that's on everywhere. Well, no, it's not. Where is it? You can really see me concentrating there, can't you?
Where is my podcast?
It's on Spotify and it's on iTunes, and then wherever else it gets distributed, wherever. It's on TikTok and Instagram at Flaming Movies Pod, or just follow me on Instagram at Tim Does Films.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's a link tree from there. You get whatever you want.
There we go. And then your photography is all Tim Saxby photography.
Probably, yeah. Tim Saxby first. I don't know.
You'll find it somewhere. I'll tag him in a post or something like that. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Tim.
It's been good fun. Thank you.